Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. Hi, how are ya? We're back in the car today. I had so much fun doing it the other day that I figured, why not just continue with this? I mean, it's a nice way for me to get out of my apartment and for it to be a little different view or scenery. And, you know, I feel a lot better about myself whenever I'm outside living, you know, in the real world, as opposed to the, could have used a blinker, sweetie, as opposed to the, you know, manufactured reality I have set up for myself in my own apartment. So we're just gonna jump straight into it today. Roads are still bumpy, know that, like, that's not changing anytime soon. We're just gonna jump straight into it today though, because there has been a lot of like YouTubers recently that are just kind of like under fire for random things. And we're gonna start with Shane Dawson and his cat, honestly, because that is like the some interesting tea, I guess you could say. It's not even really tea. Okay, so if you don't know, there have been allegations. Getting this morning started off right here at 9:30. We're talking about sexual allegations between Shane Dawson and a feline. Now, I grew up watching Shane, like, literally from, like, probably 2008. Like, I don't know if he's been there that long. I have a trouble with, like, the exact year and everything. But, you know, from like very early on in Shane's career, like, I knew whenever I found him, he had like 5,000 subscribers or so. Like, he was nothing, not nothing, but he was not what he is today by any means. And I remember back then, whenever I was like in 6th or 7th grade, maybe 5th grade, whenever I was watching him, that a lot of his humor was problematic. A lot of it was like a bit questionable if, you know, it should come up into consideration later on, because I knew, like, even then that I was like, okay, well, that's funny to people now, but like soon enough, like, that somebody's gonna find offense in that. And especially whenever he had like a smaller audience and these jokes were like really bad, honestly. Like, he would make suicide jokes, racially inclined jokes, jokes about losing his virginity to a cat, you know. And it's just one of those things that, like, I while he shouldn't have said that back then, like, I don't think that that's actually the tea today. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's true. I think it was strictly a joke, especially whenever I heard that the joke was made in the Shane and Friends episodes that he would do. Those were crazy. And if you didn't know what those were, they were basically like skits that he would do as like different characters. Like, there was Shanae, there was Ned, the little nerd guy. He played a version of his like mother, but like if she was alcoholic, I guess, I don't know. And like himself, obviously, which was the one that like brought everyone together, and they were all, you know, good Judies at the end of every episode or whatever. And I believe it was Ned that said that, and he was a little nerd boy, and they tried to make him look as absolutely sad and creepy as possible. So honestly, like, I do think it was a joke. And then on top of all of that, like, I mean, people are reaching too far back now, because obviously Shane Dawson's like humor has changed and his content has changed as a whole. But people want to like look back at every year somebody want to look back and pick something out from his past. Like, I remember last year it was some sort of like pedophilia allegation, and I didn't even know where that had come from. But what I really wanted to talk about on this is if these celebrities would learn to shut their mouth, I don't think anybody would like know what was going on. I was riding home from like where I live. I was riding from like the town that my parents have a house in to where I go to college, and I was watching a YouTube video, and all of a sudden I get a Twitter notification from Shane Dawson, and the first thing I see is, no, I did not F my cat. And I was like, what is this? And literally, whenever I had looked it up online, but like during that, nothing had popped up about that. I would say Shane Dawson's cat, and the only thing that would pop up was like Cheeto. And that's it. But now that he has made mention of it, and now that he has thrown fuel into the fire, you know, now all of the news outlets are talking about how creepy he is, how horrible of a person he is. All the people, like, it's trending, Shane Dawson's cat on Twitter. It has been for God knows how long. So enough about the cat, though. We're gonna go ahead and talk about like how him and Ryland are engaged. I don't know if y'all saw that, but last night, whenever I'm filming this, last night, which was March 19th, Shane said, I got another Twitter notification that pulled through, and it said he said yes, and I was like, I immediately know what this is about. So I go to Twitter and see, and they got engaged. And, you know, do I think that people should be getting engaged at all now? No, I think it's antiquated, whatever. But I'm glad that, you know, it's an option for people if they want it. I'm glad that they will definitely be living happy, successful lives in the future. So I'm going to congratulate officially Shane Dawson and Ryland Adams. Now we're going to move on to Trisha Paytas, because honestly, another queen that I watch all the time. Love her so much, but y'all know she goes through her little stints of, I don't even know if it's like actual, she's so good at acting, or at least she's so good at like shock factor entertainment, where we're kind of like, oh my god, let's keep tuned because this is a train wreck and we want to keep seeing what's going on. And I've noticed in some of her videos now, she just seems very like, hi guys, how are you? Oh. And then she'll just sit there and wait for a second, and then she'll be like, okay, well, today we'll be making lunch. And then she'll just like stare at the camera, and she seems so dead on the inside. And I know that that's obviously not like the tea, but like in this one video that I'm talking about, she was making herself I think they were tater tots and like a grilled cheese sandwich. And while she was sitting there eating the grilled cheese, she ate like 2 tater tots and then took a bite of the grilled cheese and then put it down. She was like, oh, I'm getting full. And I was just like, yike. And then she picked back the sandwich up, and then she didn't even put it in her mouth or near her mouth. And she's like, I love eating imaginary food. That's how you stay skinny. And like, I was honestly kind of shook about it, because, you know, there's so many people, like, especially now, like, I don't know, back in the day, that would have been fine. I would have been like, okay, well, that's just a, you know, a gag, ha ha ha. But like the whole like weight thing nowadays is so, it's under a microscope right now, because like a lot of people are body positivity, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's better to be skinny. Some people are like, well, it's better to be thick, with 2 C's. And some people, you know, that like, some people get bullied because of their weight and blah, blah, blah. And that creates, you know, habits of eating disorders and etc. Wait 1 second, I'm about to order. Y'all already know where I'm at.
Good morning, welcome to Starbucks. What can I get started for you?
Yes, can I get a venti iced coffee with light ice and none of the simple syrup, please?
All right, what else for you today?
That'll be it.
Okay, your total's going to be $343. We'll see you at the window.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's pull around. I don't even know if there was anybody in front of me. Oh, there is. Cool. They got a caramel macchiato and some pastry. Iconic. All right, well, I'm about to pay, and then we're going to continue chatting about Miss Paytas. Oh, there we go. Hello. There you go.
Good morning, welcome to Starbucks. What can I get started for you?
Can I also get a packet of Splenda, please? Thank you.
We do.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, she was sweetie. God. I could never work in a drive-thru. Like, I dead-ass could never work at a drive-thru. I feel like that's too stressful. Having to wait on one customer, and then she just, like, literally took in another order while I was standing there. Like, God, that's so much. That's extreme. But, okay, back to Miss Paytas. It's just one of those things that, like, weight and stuff is something, like, I don't know if she's using it for shock factor. I know she's talking about how she's on, like, a weight loss journey right now, you know. However, since she's been on this whole thing, she's been very open about only eating one meal a day and, like, just not really doing anything other than that. Like, do I completely believe that that's the tea? No, I don't. But, like, there are people that are impressionable, or there are people out there that'll, I guess, hear that and subconsciously, like, I don't know. Like, it's just one of those things that, like, weight is just such a touchy subject for, like, a lot of people. And I would never think that it would get to the point again in society that we are going back to, like, I guess body shaming. But I mean, she's kind of like body shaming herself, and it's hard to watch because Trisha's beautiful. Like, she's beautiful on the inside and out. And anytime somebody doesn't see themselves as being beautiful and they start blaming it on other aspects of their body, such as their weight. Oh, sorry. Could have used a blinker. Whenever somebody starts hating on themselves for other aspects, such as weight, such as maybe their height, maybe their skin issues, it's just one of those things that it's like, it's sad because you can't really help that immediately. Or in some cases ever. And it just sets you up. If you start doing that, then I feel like it just manifests itself in some type of continuum, and you will always feel like that about something relating to your life. And I mean, I think that society still has so much room to grow on the whole weight thing, because, you know, I mean, not even 2 years ago, I was 260 pounds, like, true tea. I would eat, like, that's for another story, but I moved out of my house, and I, like, you know, pretty rapidly lost, I guess 100 pounds at this point. Honestly, I pretty rapidly lost 100 pounds. And, you know, at first everyone was, like, congratulating me, and it wasn't because, like, I was sitting there and, like, doing stuff that I wasn't supposed to do. It was mostly because I could not afford to eat food. I couldn't find a job whenever I moved up here, and so I've had to rely on the money that my parents can send me, or on the money that I can make on the weekends whenever I'm back home at my old job. And I just wasn't able to afford having food, as sad as that sounds. So I pretty rapidly lost weight, and then on top of that, I was in my own apartment. So I was like, oh, well, I can go out and do whatever I want whenever I want. So I would start, you know, and I would start going to the trails outside of my apartment and exercising. Or I would, you know, sometimes just not eat to save money. And, like, that was just something that, I guess, because eventually, whenever you do get into that point where you can't really think about food, or food is kind of like not an enemy, but like something that you don't really want to associate with too much, then it does become an obsession, and it's easier to keep up with a starvation-esque mind frame than it is like originally, and it's something that I had to teach myself out of. Like it's so what I feel uncomfortable talking about this, but like it's something that you have to teach yourself out of. And if you keep just like pinpointing another aspect of your body that you don't like, instead of something about your personality that maybe you could change, or maybe like, oh well, I don't like whenever I get into this foggy brain set, so maybe I could work on tactics to get myself out of that. Like, you know, you can change yourself to make yourself more beautiful on the inside and out without pinpointing specific physical issues that you have that 9 times out of 10 you can't really help immediately. And a lot of us don't have the money to help ourselves immediately, or a lot of us don't have the willpower to help ourselves immediately, let's be honest. And it's just one of those things that it's like, I hope she's okay. I hope that she is being healthy with her weight loss. She did the whole celery juice cleanse challenge thing, and she lost like 3 pounds or something. Like, congratulations. But you know, if that's your goal, like, good. But I hope she's being healthy with it, because while she was doing that at the same time, it sounded like she wasn't eating. And I just hope if you're out there and you're not eating, because you are obsessed with your body weight or whatever, you just don't let that type of thing influence you to continue, because it is something that it's such a big issue, especially with people, you know, our age. I don't know, but we're gonna move along. And another thing I saw yesterday was Wendy Williams. She had a little thumbnail on her YouTube channel, and it said, "I have to tell the truth about where I've been." So in case you don't know, like I have, because I have been keeping up with Wendy Williams for probably 4 years now. How you doing? She has been gone for probably like 2 months, like in a row. Not like up until yesterday, but like pretty much up until yesterday. She's been back for maybe a week or 2 at this point. But she really never addressed where she's been. She's kind of said like, oh, I've been in the hospital because I broke my arm. Ha ha ha. Well, she's been gone for a sizable amount of time. So in my mind, I was like, oh, something's going on behind the scenes, obviously. And a lot of people thought like, oh, she's being abused by her husband, which, you know, that's still a leading theory that a lot of people have, because it doesn't seem to be that incorrect. But in my mind, it was mostly that I was like, okay, well, she broke her arm, she fell down something. She said she fell down the stairs and she broke her arm or her hand or whatever it was. Well, in the past, she has been very open about having an addiction issue with painkillers and with cocaine. So, in my mind, because she got hurt, I started to think, you know what, the doctors probably prescribed her some sort of painkiller. And because there's been rumors about her husband buying a house for his baby mama as well, like the side chick, the side piece. So a lot of stuff would be going on in Miss Williams' world, I'm assuming, you know. Well, she came onto her show yesterday and she said, okay, well, I have to be honest about where I've been the past couple of months, and where I will be for the next couple of months. And she said, I have been in a outpatient rehabilitation house. I come to work, I get glammed up, I go do a few of my meetings with my 24-hour sober coach, and then I go back to this house, lights off at 10, I wake up the next morning, I come in to get glammed, and then it's a whole cycle. And I was just shocked, honestly, that she admitted it, because she is the type of person that she will dish the tea on anybody else's life, but she never really says anything about her own. Like, she doesn't really give any insight to the fans about what she's going through or how she is. And, you know, it was very heartwarming for me that she feels comfortable enough to be able to share this type of information. And also, it was very good to hear that she actually is getting help if she needs it. She was talking about how her husband and her have started the Hunter Foundation, which that's her husband's last name, Kevin Hunter. They have started the Hunter Foundation for Addiction, and she was very much like telling people, like, call this network if you or anybody in your life is going through it, because I'm a first-hand account that addiction will never really leave you. All you can do is combat it the best way that you can, and that's through help. And you can't do it on your own. You really can't. And she really had a positive message with it, and I was glad that she's taking the steps for herself, because honestly, Wendy Williams, she's probably one of the meanest people on television, in all honesty, but it's one of those staples. She's so iconic. Like, how many memes does she have? I can't even count on, like, I don't think I could count how many memes this girl has had. And she's just so culturally relevant. She stays on top of everything, and I truly believe she's nice on the inside, you know, like one of those things. And I'm glad that she's getting the help that she needs, instead of one day I wake up and see a news article that's like, Wendy Williams found dead in bathtub after overdose. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad that she's getting what she needs. And she never, like, came out and said, like, she was doing that stuff right now. But she did make mention that in the past, I've had an issue with cocaine. Somehow I got off the wagon myself, or somehow I got back into reality myself. All I can say is that God was there to help me, or whatever. Oh, I'm sorry. I could have had my blinker on too. If I'm going to call other people out, might as well call myself out. So, you know, I'm just really happy that she is getting the help that she needs. And that she has started a foundation for anybody else. Now, I don't know if it costs any money to call this foundation, but I'll see if I can find the little information and put it in the description box below. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have made it back to my apartment after a long trek to Starbucks to get myself my iced coffee. And I hope that you have a beautiful day. I hope that you radiate sunshine to yourself and to other people. I hope that you remember that you're beautiful on the inside and the out, and that, honestly, beauty is the least interesting thing about you. We can all have fun and enjoy looking good, but if that's the only thing that makes you a person, I would strongly suggest looking into yourself and finding a hobby, or maybe finding something that you're actually passionate about, as opposed to just looking the best that you can. We learned that maybe we shouldn't make jokes that we could foresee very easily being problematic in a few years. And also, we're going to end up by saying congratulations to Mr. and Mr. Shane and Ryland Adams Dawson, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, I love you. I hope you have a great day. Mwah. You're beautiful. I'll see you later. Let me know if you like these little carpool things. But while you're at it, like and comment and subscribe to let me know if you do. I like doing them because it's fun to rant in the car. I'm always that person that if I'm not listening to music, I literally have my radio turned all the way down and I'm like talking to myself. So it's good that I got this little thing. I hope you enjoy them because I really have enjoyed making them, or the two that I've made already. But anyway, bye, love you. Mwah.